Welcome. As you're coming in, please follow the instructions on the screen. Your time is valuable. This is the handout for the session so that you have something in front of you, something to see, something to hear, so all your learning senses can be engaged. We're going to build mental muscles. We're going to challenge our learning edge. We're going to think about things differently. Hold judgment for yourself and others lightly. Thank you for being here. I recognize your expertise. I'd like to give recognition to Christy Getchy, nurse coach and colleague, Faizan, my LinkedIn associate. Faizan leads ARC's LinkedIn presence, event promotion, and digital brand strategy. His work helps connect our message with people who want it the most and need it the most. I highly recommend him. To Lauren Epstein, who will be contributing, and Susie Moon, my visibility partner. You can find their information in the chat, and I highly recommend all of them. Let's get started. What this looks like is three solid 15-minute dives with dedicated time for one question at the end of each 15 minutes, and then 15 minutes at the end for full-on Q&A. And we will take a deep breath and a time to just move our body after each 15 minutes. Hopefully that helps you and you have everything downloaded and can hear me and see me. You might be here if you're excited or exhausted. You might be trying to make people feel better and yourself feel better. You might be holding everyone's emotions and trying to fix them and still not feeling like that's enough. You go home from work carrying conversations, conflict, or guilt that no one else can see. You wonder if you're doing it wrong or if you're just the only one who cares this much. You've been waiting for things to get easier, more functional, so you can feel better. Sound familiar? Been there. That's why the culture of one exists. Right now, most people are being pulled into outrage, helplessness. We're trying to fix what's outside of us, and culture of one isn't a concept. It's a way of living and being when the external world is demanding more than it gives. When we feel like things are out of our control and we can't turn the ship in time. When we feel like one person just can't make a difference. I urge you to understand that you can. The culture of one is emotional clarity, value aligned decision making, the ability to understand who you are when everything around you might be loud or chaotic and not showing you evidence of the good work you do. The culture of one is self-care that replenishes you even while you're doing the care and the work that you want to. You don't have to sacrifice self-care and momentum when systems are slow to change, as they are, when systems do things we don't want them to do. This is leadership from the inside out. This is why I created this, because I was going through this. I stopped waiting, and I want you to stop waiting to have that evidence because we create evidence inside of ourselves. It is always nice when things are clipping along, we're getting recognition, we're getting evidence that things are changing. But we create that in ourselves on purpose. And I'm going to show you three ways to do that today and have a cognitive bias expert here to talk about that. We make stress mean something different because we're not going to be without stress. We make different meaning of it. We define our worth by how we show up for ourselves, not by others, not by how people react. You choose belief over pressure. Guilt doesn't run the show. Values do. This is emotional maturity. We're building on all of this that you already have. This is self-leadership. Who am I to teach this? I'm Andrea. I'm a nurse and a life coach, creator of Culture of One. I built this because I couldn't always see the way I was thinking and the meaning I was making of the care and the impact that I was maybe not seeing reflected back to me. I wasn't seeing the good care I gave. I wanted to feel better, even when I couldn't get what I needed to help me feel better externally. This was not the system's fault. I'm a mom of two, wife to my husband. I am grandma to a grand dog. I hail from Wisconsin, and I'm a product of this work. Every day, I care for people who are dying in the ICU, or I work with clients who are letting versions of themselves die. Do you know what people say at the end of their life when their time is short? I had a good life. I have good people around me. I did good and bad things. I have regrets. I want more. I can't take my regrets with me. And I don't have time to want more. Relief. That's what I want for you, to have that kind of relief now, to not settle for just what you think you should have, but to want more and be okay with that, to do good in the world and be okay with that, to recognize you have a good life, you have good people, you do good things, you have regrets, and they don't have to come with you. I'm not taking regrets with me tomorrow. That's what I want for you now, to reinvent and to lead from the inside. The smallest circle is where your power lives, not out in the systems, outcomes, or the other people. These are all important things where we make impact, but your power lives right in the small circle of you. The systems, the outcomes, the other people is the big circle. The culture of one asks you to go to the small circle. What am I thinking and feeling and deciding right now? Most of us live in the big circle. We think about the systems and suffering and slowness of change. We think about people we want to feel better, who should be doing better. The system is failing them. We think if all of that were fixed, we would feel better. We could do our work. That's not where leadership starts. That's where burnout lives. Reinvention happens the moment you let your focus come to the smaller circle. What do I believe? What do I choose? Who am I being, regardless of what's happening around me? You don't need to control the big circle. You get to lead from the small one. It will change the big circle. This is the culture of one. Moving your focus from systems, solutions, people's reactions, external forces to the small one, where you're thinking, you're feeling, where you lead from, and your values are the focus. So you ask yourself, if I only had access to the small circle, which is my values, my purpose, my thinking, my feeling for the rest of this day, what would I change first? Reinvention isn't about changing our entire life. It's about refusing to keep doing what doesn't work or refusing to do what works because it's either familiar or scary. Let me say that again. It's about refusing to keep doing what doesn't work. It's about refusing to stop doing what doesn't work because it's familiar. It's about not doing, it's about doing what we aren't doing because it's scary. The discomfort of pretending things are fine is what we know. The discomfort of trying something that we're worried about not landing or being uncomfortable is our currency. Maybe you are pretending that things are fine and you feel fried. Talking about why we're fried isn't a problem. We talk about the worst and the best. Maybe you've outgrown your habits, you're still doing them. Maybe you spend time trying to manage other people's emotions. Maybe you feel stuck between who you were and who you want to be. Reinvention doesn't happen later, it happens now with one decision. I don't need their behavior to justify my value and worth. This doesn't mean you don't care or you don't practice all of the compassionate and caring things you've learned. You step into your new level of involvement and then you ask the question, how do I lead today, knowing that how they react or what their emotions are don't mean anything about my worth and value? I'm not going to lead from fear or obligation today. I can close my door. I can take some focus for that small circle, which is me, my inner life, my processing, my emotions. I can stop chasing relief and create it with belief. If you're drained, you're doing too much. Not doing too much, but doing too much from a version of you that doesn't fit you, what you've grown to, the skills you've gathered anymore. That's what reinvention is. Where are you ready to act like the version of you that you've been envisioning because you're there now? It's done. We're going to be exploring three tools of reinvention. We're going to talk about one now called self-concept, and then two after Lauren, our expert. This is how we challenge our thinking. Self-concept is about changing our thinking. Cognitive bias is all about how we are thinking. Self-concept is not just a coaching idea. It's the invisible script running our life. Our self-concept decides what you say yes or no to, what you think you deserve, how long you tolerate things you've outgrown, how fast you give up on something that matters to you. These affect your leadership. They may not take account for all of the amazing things you've grown into as a leader. We just haven't been aware of what our self-concept is. You make more progress than you know without ever learning about this. So think about how simple it can be to change so many things so quickly. The new ideas your brain will need and get. This can be very freeing. It changes what you do and what you allow. We Our brains think we have to have a new plan. We don't. We get to appreciate an updated self-concept or reach for one we don't believe quite yet, but that gives us the energy to move forward. For example, one of my clients was operating under thinking that with her racism, she could not use her leadership skills. We found that her self-concept had just not expanded to give her credit for yes, allowing inherent racism, and how the deep work she had done to grow her leadership skills could work together. Yes, and how inherent racism in our ego would like us to stay small, but we want to be able to move those things forward together. Think of a time you felt obligated, rushed, or urgent. That's a pattern I see in people who care deeply and who carry a lot. You override your gut when your brain says to stay comfortable. You might make your emotion mean something about the moment. Emotion is always going to be 50-50, good and bad. When we feel emotion in us, that's us connecting with our truest self. Your brain thinks it's solving a problem by keeping you comfortable, but really, it's putting you on mute. This isn't weakness, it's practice. Your brain has rehearsed this move for years to conserve energy because alignment takes effort, takes energy to say something new. It takes courage to let someone react and not make it mean anything about you. And your brain says, you'll cause harm to you, your family, someone you lead. You'll be misunderstood. If you are willing to be uncomfortable from the intention of caring, which I know you have, you gain a new depth. You get new information. You get closer, not farther, to what you want to see happen. This is the shift happening. You feel the moment. You hear the old script, and instead of following it, you choose differently. That's what reinvention is. That's what self-concept is. So if you're already seeing yourself in this and already thinking about what's possible when you go to that small circle and you think about your self-concepts, you might have so many. Just wait. We're going to go deeper. And yes, I'll tell you how we can keep doing this work together and the next two steps. This isn't just a talk, it's a roadmap. And if you want support while you implement this, stay tuned. We will touch on the last two tools after Lauren. His insight and expertise add a new dimension to what we've just been exploring. Lauren Epstein is a social scientist, keynote, and Vistage speaker. He consults with senior leaders on improving decision-making outcomes by reducing biases. Over 60,000 professionals have taken his workshops worldwide. He's been quoted in Forbes, Cosmopolitan, Christian Science Monitor, and other publications. His research focuses on improving decision-making and reducing the impact of bias in the workplace. Lauren has been leading experiential workshops since 1993. He has a book, You're Hired, Interview Skills to Get the Job Done, has been downloaded 500,000 times worldwide. Lauren is currently studying cognitive neuroscience at the master's level at George Mason University. It is an honor to have Lauren. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Lauren. Let's take one question. right now. And let's let everyone just take a deep breath and move your arms, move around. If you're not, maybe you're listening and you're already moving. But whew, that was intense and wonderful things. Thank you, Lauren. So we take one question. We're back from our question, our deep breath, and Lauren. We're going to hop into the second tool of reinvention. If we can get our slides up and going again. The second tool, the heart of reinvention, is transparency. Sometimes we think transparency is about sharing all the information, the data, the decisions. What transparency is, is addressing meaning behind the data and decisions. I remember walking into a room in the ICU, a patient on 100% oxygen on a breathing machine, and family asked for the truth. And so I shared. They are on 100% oxygen on a breathing machine. They have saturations in the 80s, sedation paused, and kidneys failing with laboratory values of BUN and creatinine going up and dialysis. And the family said, okay, and sat down, but continued to have many questions. What they were asking for when they said the truth, and me wanting to be transparent, was that they were asking for the meaning behind what was happening. They had trusted me. They hadn't felt that I wasn't trustworthy. They were expecting me to understand how to relate to the meaning they were asking for. Are they dying now? Can they live through the day? These were moments that helped me understand transparency isn't what we say, it's the meaning behind what we say. So, the meaning behind the culture of one is system can move slow. We can be disappointed. Things can be frustrating. But if we take care of ourselves and empower ourselves, you will see change. I've had to share with folks that they will not be able to get a raise. There will be staff cuts. We're doing this because of cost of unit and blah, blah, blah. Because of a red line loss that we had based on a loss from blah, blah, blah. I had to give data. And at the time, I thought, okay, they're going to take this and they're going to feel better. They're going to understand the why behind this. And I thought, if they see me here today and I share this data with them, they'll know. But as I grew as a leader and a human, I started to understand that transparency wasn't me being there. It wasn't me just sharing data. It was the meaning behind something. This means your workflow is going to change. You aren't going to get what you want. What's familiar may not be anymore. We will not be able to increase your pay, and that means you will have to find out what your value is and what this work means to you on your own or with my help. That's hard. Here's one thing I'd really like you to hear. The part we forget, that you make this conversation mean about you. What this conversation means about you matters. When I've had something hard to say, and I have to do it many times, I'm a bad news sharer, my brain always wants to ask, what if they think I don't care? What if they fall apart and blame me? Sometimes I go under the bus. That's how it goes. You've probably thought those things too. You've probably been learning a lot of tools for this, and you just hadn't put that together with transparency and meaning. You've learned tools like asking permission, allowing for time to process, allowing time to spend time with people, speaking one-to-one, doing huddles. All of that was so that you can now increase your transparency. Transparency isn't just about having your door open, especially if you're not emotionally open, and that's okay. When you learn to go to the smaller circle and become emotionally available to yourself, then you're going to be more emotionally available to have that door open more, and you will see a change. Transparency is not about being at work, so people will see you. That's just from our thinking. That as a leader, I have to be there. I have to be in the trenches with them. I have to be suffering. I have to be visible. And maybe it came from in the past, you didn't have a leader that you think is visible. We want to explore the meaning of that for you so that then you can take the meaning you want into your leadership. That's growth. When we have transparency and we make meaning and we connect with people, we don't have to overstay. We don't have to be visible to be transparent. That's growth. The final concept here, and one that I think I still face every day, and you're going to face every day, is challenge. Not the facts about challenges or what should or shouldn't be a challenge, but about this relationship to challenges. The brain hits resistance and says, with cognitive bias, this must mean I'm doing it wrong. I have asked for this challenge. And our brain immediately says, you're doing it wrong. I asked for it. I'm allergic to it. It's like having a narcotic allergy and it's saying it makes you sleepy. Yes, it does. Challenges make you doubt. You ask for challenges and then you have that allergy, which is called self-doubt or fear. All of them go hand in hand. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. This shouldn't be so hard. It's cognitive bias, as Lauren shared with us. Challenge does not mean you're in the wrong place. It means you're in the work. Challenge is what you ask. You get to choose to care and you get to choose to stay, even without guarantees. You get to choose for yourself, you get to choose to care for yourself optimally. That's what I help people with. The question isn't, why is this hard? The question is, why am I making this hard thing mean something about me? You might be making it mean I'm harming my family, I'm harming myself, I'm wasting time, I'm going to fail, I'm going to look like a fool. I can't believe I've wasted all this time. Regret. It cannot come with us. This is what we learn at Culture of One. Regret does not come with us. This is something that all people face every day. The Culture of One will not get rid of that. It will help you understand that without that cognitive bias, we don't get to decide, I'm willing to do this. We think that this inner language will go away, but our brain because of cognitive bias, because of simplicity, because of energy, because of habit, wants to run the program. And we get to choose every day to believe it or not. Are you willing to do this hard work today, or are you unwilling? Are you unwilling to do it forever? Are you unwilling to look for ideas? Are you willing to? It's always a question of, am I willing? Am I not willing? How am I thinking about me in these moments? If no one else can give me that or what I need, how am I being transparent? Am I giving myself time to process? Am I giving myself care? Am I closing to that smaller circle? Or am I hanging on to that larger circle like this? Am I talking to someone uh, about how all of this discomfort feels in my body? Today is a new day for you. Reinvention isn't about changing everything. It's about changing how you think about your thinking. There's three things that we talk about with reinvention: self-concept, transparency, and our relationship with challenge. And reinvention starts right now. Where Lauren and I have been talking about your thinking is where reinvention starts. Please follow the instructions to complete the survey so we know what hit and what didn't. And we are moving our bod, taking a deep breath, and we're opening up for questions. It can be questions for Lauren or myself. Maybe you have something to share. Remember, this is an important part for all of you because when we hear other people talking about things, we get ideas or we get validation or we get connections. I'm confident that you're going to be implementing changes today. I'm confident you are energized and inspired to get out there and recognize the great work you do and do more of it. That we're shifting from helplessness, taking that big circle, we're closing it into our little one so that when we get back to the big circle, it looks different. Do you want to keep surviving? Do you want to continue to build your self-concept as the one who leads with belief in your skills and that you're growing every day? Remember, regret. It doesn't come with us day to day. Remember that relief. I am good. I have good people. I have a good life. I have regrets. I want more. All of that is okay. We can't take any of that with us. So let's get relief now. No regrets come with us. Huge thank you to the audience, to Lauren for co-creating, to Faizan for co-creating, and for Christy also for being here. And Susie, thank you so much for supporting me as we do this work in the world and connecting with the people who were here. Huge thank you to all of you. I'm going to open it up and stop the share. Here we go. Raise your hands. As we're closing up our time of Q&A, you can reach me at www.romercoaching.com. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn, and we can talk any time about this work and where you're going and how to work with me as a group, a facility, or individually. Thank you so much.